Welcome back, everybody, to the Blazer Victory Podcast. This is John Duncan, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Darion Smith. Unfortunately, guys, UAB did not get it done in Lynchburg, Virginia, as UAB falls 21-14 down in Lynchburg against the Liberty Flames. Darion, do you want to just start us off, bud? Because I know you've got you've got a lot to say.
Yeah. It's hold on. Oh wait. Oh whoa. Almost dropped. Fumbled something there. I'm sorry.
Dude,
Uh,
4 turnovers, man. That is like okay. So like, I get it was raining. I but at the end of the day, like these guys scrimmaged in the rain. Like they know how to play in the rain. You go back to the BYU game, the Independence Bowl, that was in the rain. So I don't like. I mean, a couple of those turnovers were like, okay, you got to give it to the Liberty guy because I mean he punched it out. But Debo fumbling it twice, Skull fumbling it, and then Starling Thomas muffing a punt, like.
and not only them fumbling, we didn't recover one fumble. Like we weren't even close to recovering one. We lost them all. We lost them at crucial times where momentum was changing. They killed us. We should have at least been up 16-7 by the half. That's the minimum. But I would say 21.
That's what I. That's what I was gonna say, man. I think that UAB, the way they were running the ball with Debo and Skull, like we should have been up by 21. And like, and let me ask you this, Darren, from an offensive lineman's perspective, like when you're doing all the work early on in the game, and then your very talented running backs are just putting the ball on the ground. Is that kind of like demoralizing for an offensive lineman? Like, hey, we're opening these holes for you, but I mean, you're just not getting it done.
It is deflating because it's a good team. You
Right.
have to take advantage of those opportunities. They're not going to keep coming. You have those opportunities for a reason. We were breaking them, and we have them right there. I think this is why this is more frustrating than last year.
Yeah.
Last year was at least they just completely let us down, right? Like all over. The defense played lights out.
Dude, they
Um,
did.
we leaned on them so heavily. We wanted them like they were every turnover they answered the call.
Right.
They I don't know they were disciplined. They didn't let Salter escape the pocket. They made him be consistent. They minimized big plays. Like they didn't get many penalties. Everything we asked for the defense, they did, and they put it right on the platter for the offense. And the offense, first, I think it's two things. First, it was our players just putting the ball, turnovers,
Yeah.
giving the good team chance after chance, chance after chance. And then, of course, our defense wore down toward the end because we kept putting them on the field. Because not only
Right.
did we chance, we couldn't move the ball, in the second half because that's when I rolled into my second. And this is where I'm kind of balancing it here because we are close to this team. We covered this team. We are,
Right.
but we also have to be fair and
We've got to
give
be authentic. Yeah, we've got to be
and we have to
authentic.
be authentic and we have to give our criticism. In my opinion, I did not really like the play calling. I feel like we became predictable. And those first down runs, whatever, those safeties start coming up and the D line got really aggressive. It was, I mean, stretch play.
Yeah.
Every first, and I'm like, well, the whole thing we talked about before this game was, hey, let's keep them honest.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them honest. I know we can pound it. Yes, we can pound it. But the reason why we can pound it is because we have a quarterback and a receiving core that can make plays.
Right.
But I think we have to, trust them in those positions. And we're here, we're armchair. I'm being an armchair play caller right now, so I'm not on the field, and I didn't go through the game plan. And
But you played, man. Like, so you've seen, like, I feel like at least compared to me, you have more of a understanding of what's going on.
I would have liked to see us mix it up on those early downs. I think one time in the second half we did that. And I'm like, he completed some passes on 1st and 10, and it was finally when we was forced in that position. We did that, but when we got an obvious passing 3rd and long, they pinned their ears back and they got after our offensive line. And we
Yep.
said pregame that this is a good pass rushing unit. We did not want to get into that. We didn't. And we got into that, and they brought pressure, and it was kind of spot on to what we talked about.
It was.
Everything we talked about, contain Salter, check. Be disciplined, check. But we weren't disciplined on offense.
No.
Ball on the ground, turnover, chance after chance. They go up on us. Hey, we have to depend on a passing game. They have a good pass rushing unit. We couldn't do too much. And I don't think our play calling was really good. And we gave a good team too many chances. And you give a good team too many chances, they'll win the game. That's it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it is, man. That's the 4 turnovers, but at the end of the day, like all 4 of those turnovers, I don't think Liberty scored on any of them. Like maybe that last one they did, but like the defense did their job. But when it gets late in the third quarter and heading towards that fourth quarter, and they've been out on the field the majority of the game, of course they're going to get tired. Especially that the defensive line for UAB, like. You've got to give a hats off to the Liberty offensive line and really the Liberty defensive line too. I felt that especially in the second half, both Liberty's offensive line and Liberty's defensive line really won the trenches on both sides of the ball. Like you could tell, like UAB's offensive line, I mean, especially that fourth quarter, man, they were just rushing 3 and they were getting back there. It just wasn't good to watch. And I'm just being honest, yeah.
It wasn't. And unfortunately, we said that this would be a clash of styles.
Yep.
We wholeheartedly wanted that first round. Mm-hmm. Wholeheartedly. It's like a heavyweight boxing match. And if you have a guy hurt, we had them hurt. If you have a guy hurt, you have him on the ropes. You have to take advantage of it, especially if you're a power puncher that doesn't have much stamina, right? We could have knocked him out. We could have knocked him out, but you know what? We didn't. Mm-hmm. Instead of going and putting our foot on their throat, we said, "Hey, here you go. You get the ball." Yep. And we want to keep playing the game, and they wore us down. And it was kind of like the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury first.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
We got a couple knockout punches, but we kept them around too long, and they got too many chances, and we couldn't put them down. So that was on us, man. All we had to do was hold on to the ball, and we probably should have took those points instead of going for it on fourth.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, what do you think about that play call to go for it?
I did not agree because even they said it. Even I didn't.
The broadcaster said it was like, yeah, points are a premium.
Yeah, it's raining. I didn't understand it. We hadn't been passing the ball well. We hadn't been passing it at all. I was confused. I just thought we were going to kick the field goal, go up by 3 points, reclaim the lead, and we would have had I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say, like, I don't agree with the call. Like, I would have kicked the field goal myself. I mean, it's easy for us now to say, hey, yeah, of course we should kick the field goal. I thought the play call was actually good. Like, it just needed like maybe 2 more seconds to develop. But you saw, I think it was Bryce Damas, like he was slowly making his way open in the end zone. They were going for the end zone. I don't think they were even trying to get the first down. But like he was open for like a split second. But by that time, that Liberty defensive line had already gotten the backfield. And Dylan, I mean, he was just running for his life, basically.
Yeah, I believe Dylan got pretty shook in that second half because he did have a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So sometimes when he didn't have the pressure, he still was kind of just running around, and he would he would fall down, and we put ourselves in so many negative yardage situations.
Golly,
it felt so bad for the defense. Like
me too, man.
What can you expect them to do? Like how many times we're going to put them on the field? Right. 3 outs. How many we're going to we can't keep putting them in that position. So whatever touchdowns they gave up, it's not their fault. Mm-hmm. It's not their fault. That is the offense's fault. That is the play caller's fault. The defense played lights out. They had a great game plan. They followed their game plan. We were way too predictable, way too conservative, And when we had our chances, we put it on the ground. If we don't fumble the ball at all, we win by 17 points.
Oh yeah, at least.
Because the whole second half, the whole game plan has changed. We don't even really have to throw the ball in the second half. We can just continue to run it, and we can do that. But no, we didn't. This is frustrating, man.
And honestly, dude, like that's kind of what when we did our preview episode, like I said it was going to be UAB on top 28-24. I was anticipating us to be able to establish that ground game, get it going super early, and go up by like 21 points. And I thought Liberty maybe late would make a run at it. But I mean, if you're three fumbles by our running backs, just handing it right back to Liberty, and you expect the defense to every time to be able to stop them, no, like they're going to get tired of being on the field the whole game. And that definitely showed late in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. So I've got two things, Darion, that, this is, we're live. I wanted to ask or get your thoughts on. Number one, what did you think about the Wildcat that they did with Debo and Skull? I think they mainly Debo, but what do you think about
I like it to a degree.
Yeah.
I like it that, we kind of took a page out of Southern Miss. That's good scouting. Okay.
Right.
We was able to convert on the first down. I hated it. At the second half.
Oh my God! I think they ran it on like third and third and 8 late in the game, and I'm like, why are you running Wildcat?
No, it was. I believe one time it was like 3rd and 2 or something.
Oh, that's right, it was, and then it ended up being 4th and 4, and that's when we went for. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If we could have just ran the ball out of a regular formation, why? Because that's telling them that, hey, they're going to run the ball. At least
a
pass,
exactly. And Liberty worked on that. Like that's probably what they worked on all week, because they were probably thinking UAB was going to do something like that after watching the Southern Miss Liberty game. Right,
because it's a copycat league, and you're gonna follow what another team was doing that was successful. And we didn't. I don't understand.
Me either.
I'm not a play caller. I want to get this clear. I'm not an offensive coordinator, not a play caller. I'm just a former player, and I'm a fan. I think 100% of my timeline was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
What is that? But yeah, it's wow, it's frustrating. What was the second thing?
So the second question is, are you surprised that they didn't put Jacob Zeno in just to try something different?
I am. And, I was kind of against it at first because I felt like Dylan wasn't put in the position.
Yeah, see, and I was going to say, like, I don't even blame Dylan because, like, what was his official? Hold on. 10 of 15 for 114. A lot of that was on that last drive. But, I mean, when he's got guys in his face, like, he didn't have time at all. And you see, like, receivers. I saw this is one time, and they didn't point it out on the broadcast, but there was one point where Hopkins was scrambling around, and you saw in the back of the frame Shropshire just standing there.
Right.
Like, with a guy, like, when you see your quarterback scrambling, like, you've got to move around and try to give him somewhere to throw the ball to. And it's just frustrating to watch. So I don't really put it on Dylan. Like, you could tell he was rattled, but at the same time, like, do you think maybe it would have been worth throwing Zeno in there just to try something different and see if something will work? I mean, because the running game was working all night, but I don't know. It was just a thought I wanted to talk with you about.
I think it's tough because I don't think our receivers or our offensive play calling put Dylan in any good situation, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like we didn't put him in good enough situations, and our offensive line in the second half, we didn't put him in good situations to succeed. So I struggle to find what Jacob would have been able to do different. But one thing I did want to see, and I did not see, I was pining for it, was like we didn't run any QB draws.
No, none.
Yeah, that's another thing. We didn't do anything to keep them honest, and that's another thing when those guys are rushing up the field, it's 3rd and 6, and those guys are pinning their ears back. Take advantage of their aggressiveness, and and Dylan is good at that play.
He is, yeah.
I was confused at that because that's also something that was successful when they for Southern Miss when they had Takis in, he was running the ball, and we didn't take advantage of that. We didn't take advantage of their aggressiveness. We didn't take advantage of our defense playing well. We didn't take advantage of having the ability to keep them honest. And I just think that this is on our players on offense for the turnovers, and this is on our offensive play calling. Like, I think they both contributed to this. Defensive play calling, defensive players, bravo to y'all.
I mean,
Bravo.
what else can you expect? Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have been good to get another turnover, but like they played well for the majority of the game. Like they contained Salter. I mean, yeah, he got when we did our preview episode, like we both said, Darion, that hey, Salter's gonna hit a couple plays because I mean he's just that type of athlete. But I
Right.
thought overall they did a great job, except late, in the fourth quarter when they scored that last drive, but they hit Demario Douglas. But I don't know. I'm not blaming the defense at all, man. Hats off to David Reeves and those guys. Like they did a fantastic job. Like I can't knock them at all.
But even when they hit Demario Douglas, I mean, they kept a great player quiet for so long,
Yes.
during the game. And how many chances? That's my thing is if I shoot 53 pointers and you shoot 5, more than likely I'm going to make. Now I may go 9 for 50 and you may go 4 for 50, but 4 for 10, but I had way more opportunities.
That's it, bro. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So it's like they had so many. I cannot blame the defense. I'm an offensive player. I'm a center.
Mm-hmm.
I know the importance of taking advantage of opportunities, and if they're there, you have to take it. And we didn't help. We hurt, and even when we didn't turn the ball over, a lot of times we went backwards. So we put our defense right back out on the field. Like, it was frustrating to just experience. I was upset for the defensive players, and I was just disappointed in our offensive players. I really was. I was disappointed. I was proud of our offensive line in the first half because we were very physical, and we moved them. But when we needed them to step up in pass rush, when
pass protection,
they did not answer the call. Our running backs, as explosive as they were, what's the point of?
I mean, what's the point if you're gonna drop it? I mean, drop the ball, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what's like. You look at Debo, like 19 carries of 170 yards and a touchdown. If you look at just that, you're like, oh man, Debo. But you put the ball on the ground 2 times, and both of them, like the first one, I can kind of give a kudos to the Liberty guy that kind of punched it out. But at the same time, like they're going to be trying to punch the ball out because this was a Liberty team that got 3 or 4 turnovers last week against Southern Miss.
Right. They're very opportunistic, and I think we were holding our breaths every time. Like, please don't.
Man, I was. Yeah, I was like, please hold on to the ball. Please hold on to the ball.
And like, Starling when he was catching the punt. Oh my God, please don't do this. It's already raining. Just fair catch it. We're finally
no fair catch. Nope.
We're finally finna get the ball at like midfield. Don't try to be a hero here. Like we had horrible field position most of the game.
Yep.
And every time we could have had something, we turned it over. So in the first beginning, we had to flip the field because we turned it over because they had the ball in their own end zone. Well, not end zone, but they're on the side of their field because we turned it over and we kept flipping the field for them.
Exactly.
Like, all over. And it was the first time I'm like, yes, midfield, we're gonna get the ball, fumble.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God. So not only are we fumbling the ball, we are the away team.
Yep.
And when you go into somebody else's home, you have to take all of that out. You got to play smart, and you got to nullify the crowd and their energy by taking advantage of opportunities. And we did not. We just didn't. We played really bad offensive football, and that's what happened.
So looking at all these, the offensive line play, the fumbles from the running backs, especially, also Starling muffing that punt, but especially the running backs, especially Debo putting on the ground twice. To me, I feel like these can be easy fixes, right? That maybe Coach Vincent and maybe Coach Henshaw can go into the film study tomorrow, or probably even on the plane tonight, and be like, "Hey, this is what we need to do going forward."
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, would you agree that these are kind of easy, or not easy fixes, but fixable problems?
These
Or
they are fixable, but there's part of attention to detail also. So
yeah,
while it's something that's like, you can go out there and say, hey, we're going to cover the ball. But when you're in live action and you're making a play and you're making something happen, it's so easy to fall back into old habits. If we can recall back to last year, Debo fumbled the ball a lot in the first
in
half.
Jacksonville State, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he had the same problem then. So I guess it is encouraging to see in the second half, at least our running backs, they didn't put the ball on the ground. But sometimes it's just too much to overcome. And I know those three fumbles were in the first half, but that took away our momentum.
Dude, because that's 21 points right there. So
21, and one was going into our
yes, it was like at the 3 yard line. Yeah,
right. It was either a touchdown or a field goal, but I think that would have been a touchdown.
right.
That changes the trajectory of the game. And we put it on the ground, and we kept putting it on the ground. And we just couldn't overcome. But it is fixable. You know, it's just tough because I thought we finally got over that big game hump by beating BYU last year.
Me too. Okay.
To really come out and have the opportunities we had, to know what should have happened if we would have just held on to the ball. This one is
See, but that's what makes this one so frustrating. It's because like UAB, no disrespect to Liberty at all. Like if there's any Liberty fans listening, hey, hats off to you guys. Salter might be that guy going forward. The line play looked great, especially in the second half. But I still think UAB was the better team. And you take away those 4 turnovers, like this is a different ball game altogether.
yeah, I can agree, but I would say that I don't know, because being a better team is also about giving yourself the most opportunities to win, at least making the least mistakes. And here we have a redshirt freshman that had the ball in his hands a lot, and he didn't. I thought he was for sure gonna get at least 2 turnovers. I thought he was
Mm-hmm.
gonna make a big play somewhere and just do something, but he did not. He put his team in the best position to win. He was careful with the ball. He covered up the ball every time he was about to get hit, and when he didn't have nothing, he just threw it out of bounds or he took a sack. And ultimately, you know, intelligence, IQ, discipline, that's part of being a good team. So hats off to them, man. Hats off to him for winning a slugfest. Like, I thought if we got them into a slugfest that we would easily win.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And we had them in the slugfest. We had them in the defensive battle. And that's why I'm just so disappointed in our offense. Veteran QB, playmaking running backs, veteran offensive line. Got what we wanted, and we didn't take advantage. And that's hard to swallow, man.
It is. And I don't know. It's just a frustrating loss. I mean, they all are. But I don't know. I wish there was somebody going forward that we could just get our bye week for the second week of the season, because like I feel like, what are we, 1-5 since the return in week 2? Like the only win coming over Akron back in, was it 2018 or 2019? Like week 2 has always given UAB fits. Now last year was against Georgia. I mean, whatever. But like I don't know why week 2, like going back to Bill Clark, we were 1-4, and now Vincent is 0-1 in week 2. Like I just don't know why week 2 has always given UAB just fits. Like I say that, but I also want to encourage UAB fans that, I mean, yeah, it's a loss. Yeah, the loss sucks. But our season goals are still in front of us. Like UAB, this was a non-conference game. This wasn't a Conference USA game. So UAB still has, a Conference USA championship to go chase this year. We've got a very good Georgia Southern team coming in next Saturday. So they need to get ready for the guys from Statesboro coming over, and then we've got a bye week, and then we hit Conference USA season. So I hope the guys bounce back, but I just
I
fresh.
think the frustration, like, and I like that. That's a good outlook. But I think the frustration sets in for us is I believe that we have the talent to make that leap into, one of those programs on the rise. I feel like at this point, I feel like UTSA has responded more. If we're comparing us to UTSA, I think UTSA has given themselves a better chance. They've risen to the occasion on those games. Like I said, we go back to the BYU game. I'm like, we finally arrived.
Mm-hmm.
We finally arrived. But that was the bowl game at the end of the year. I want to see us do it in the season.
Right.
I want us to see us do it and take that leap as a program. I feel like we've been at that level for at least 2 years now, and we just haven't been able to do what Marshall did to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to do what Appalachian State did to Texas A&M.
Yep.
How long are we going to be on the door? I don't want to be on the doorstep anymore. I don't want to be next in line. How long are we going to be next up? I know this is kind of in the moment. I get it. Because we can go undefeated from here on out.
Right.
I don't like the fact that we have the opportunities and we have the players, we have the talent, and it's mistakes. And we end up beating ourselves. That's happened a lot. And it's frustrating. It's just very frustrating. I want to see us just get beat. If we get beat, I want to see us just do that. You know what I'm saying? And I guess when I can compare it back to last year, Malik Willis just beat us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was just a good player. We couldn't tackle him. He made passes from the pocket. But this year, you can't sit here and tell me we didn't beat ourselves. And they took advantage of it because they're a good squad. And here we are again, frustrated, sitting on the cusp. But we have the rest of the season. I want to see this light a fire under us. I want to see them use this as fuel and gasoline. And I want them to attack it undefeated, beat LSU.
Yeah.
I want to beat Georgia Southern, most importantly, in the next game.
Yes.
And I want to see us beat UTSA. I want to see a fire. I believe we can do it. I just want to. I want the rage to come out, from this game. So that's my hope. I hope we get rageful. I hope we use this as some gasoline because right now this freaking sucks.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling at all. But anything else, Darion, before we wrap this up? We're hitting close to 30 minutes. And happy anniversary to you and your wife, man. Y'all go out and celebrate.
Oh, yeah, we definitely about to go out and celebrate. I had to get that off of my chest. We're going to go out on the town. Happy anniversary to my love, Shaniqua Denise Smith.
Yes.
So, that's 6 years of marriage there. But so I'm glad we were able to get that off of our chest. And hopefully this translates for our listeners too. Hopefully they can listen to this pod and feel the rage, and feel the disappointment, and we can get it off, be disappointed, and get ready for Georgia Southern and get ready to go undefeated for the rest of the year. Like, I want to go undefeated. Yeah. I believe in this team. Yeah. I believe in Coach Vincent.
Me too. And hey, let's just learn from this. The sun will come out tomorrow, as Andy always said. But again, guys, UAB does fall in Lynchburg to the Liberty Flames 21-14. But Darion and I will be back probably Tuesday morning to get you guys ready for that Georgia Southern matchup. But as always, guys, go Blazers.
Go Blazers.